on the cab, we're going to sort out these cab corners. So I've had a good look at these cab corners, and they're multiple layers of different bits of rotten metal. Now, the way I could restore it would be going down the original spec, which would be removing this section, removing this section, and then removing the outer and the inner. And obviously I'm going to be removing the mount that's kind of hidden under here. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this whole section custom. I'm going to remove all these separate layers. I'm going to make one bigger cab corner. Now, I'm undecided if I'm going to put a swage line in or not. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a section that's not going to be kind of a magnet for rotting away in future. And by removing all these separate sections, it's not going to allow kind of water to get in between panels and stuff. It's going to make it easier to make them as well, and loads quicker. I'm kind of in a rush for this now. I've got less than a week and a half to get the cab corners done, a few little repairs on like the door bottoms and stuff, and trying to get it into primer before I go away to Germany for a quick lap around the Nürburgring. I say quick lap, probably a slow lap of multiple ones, but it is what it is. So let's just get on with it. We're going to chop this out, we're going to make some corners, we're going to go from there, see whether we can do both of these in this video. I think we can. Let's just get on with it. Of it cut out, and I haven't really recorded me assembling stuff on camera, so I'm going to show you what I have done. It's probably better to do this anyway because it shows probably a more in-depth approach. But bent up some 3mm steel, plasma cut out kind of a section because the original one has a hole in, but obviously 3mm is quite heavy, so kind of made more sense to use plasma and just cut a bit out. We've bent that round 90 degrees. And then we've obviously wired that to the original steel where it was there was no rot and it was good steel. Then what I've also done is, let me flip the camera around this way. We've put in a section here, welded that. I don't know if you remember this, but it was all kind of, there was just like it was just a torrent of weld. It was horrendous. So we put in a rear piece, and then this front piece also is cut in. So this bit of metal from here, which folds and folds again and gets to here, is a brand new piece. Now there is a very small dip in it. It's part and parcel of just trying to make something. It's not 100% exact, but we can feel that if we want to. I'm probably not going to because it's a patina truck, and realistically, you don't really notice it. So it's going to be very far down the door. The main kind of concern is keeping the angle correct, which obviously it is. So yeah, basically I could fiddle that if I wanted, but probably not going to. And then coming around here, we've Frankensteined in a bit of floor. Now, swage line isn't correct because I haven't got the right dolly. Haven't got the right Jenny wheels for it, but it doesn't really matter if it's under the cab. I just needed something to step it down for the height difference, so don't judge. We're going to obviously PU seam seal all this. It's all going to be wrapped underneath. You're not going to see it, and realistically it's underneath the cab anyway, so I've just got to make sure it's watertight and tidy. I need to work out what I'm doing on this piece here, because on the original, which is this side, we'll walk backwards and try not to trip on all this junk. You'll see it's kind of a flap which kind of bends out to, I assume that's kind of a drain, but it also obviously makes a difference between the two heights. So I don't know what I'm going to do on that one. I don't know whether I'm just literally going to 90 degree out and then do the back of the corner, which probably makes more sense, and then put a different drain in there, different drain section. I do want drain holes in it because obviously I want to be able to pump it full of cavity wax, which is going to be, I think I've got anchor wax for this one. Yeah, probably anchor wax would probably make the most sense. Although I may have wax off, probably one or two. If anyone knows which one's better, because I've got anchor wax up there, I've got 5 litre, and I've got what looks like the other one. If you know which is better out of the two, yeah, if you drop a comment below, because I'm a little way off that yet, so yeah, happy days. But anyway, we're going to stop waffling, get on the time lapse, get going, get this cab corner sorted. I've lost the footage of how I've done the cab corner. Now obviously you've seen how I've created it out of steel. It's basically made some flat steel to do an inner and outer, which as you'll see by the panels I've done for the further corner, you've got an inner section like this, which is bent out of flat steel. We've got the outer, and realistically they sit like that, and then there's a little finishing piece that goes in between. So I'm going to jump onto the floor now, and then what I'll do is I'll make sure that this part that I've missed out already is covered in the other part of the video. So let's crack on. brace section that's been welded, and then off camera I've repaired the bottom of the B pillar. Now that's essentially just a load of kind of stepped bits both ways, and that allows the outer skin something to fix to on the vehicle. Would help us holding the outer skin, which is that one. So although these are kind of sort of shaped at the moment, it's going to be a case I've got to do the two ends, shape these properly now. We'll get those bits in, and then we've basically got to make kind of the inner section, which is going to be kind of a floor area here, and additionally kind of scallop this out to be the correct shape. So we're going to get straight back into a time lapse. I'm going to hopefully end this video on this corner being done. And then off camera, because I'm not going to bore you with the same thing again, I think what I've decided, although this side of the floor isn't really too bad, there's only really a few holes and a couple of cracks to weld up, I think I'm going to chop it out, and I'm going to do the same as I've done this side and put in a completely new floor section. Why am I going to do that? Well, it will allow me to get to the captive nuts in here to basically remove those, and also clean out any kind of crap that's in there, because I was surprised how bad the sill was on this side internally. So I kind of just want to get into it for my own peace of mind, and just to make sure there's no kind of hidden rot anywhere. Once that's done, I've pretty much removed everything I can from the exterior of the shell, so there's no kind of hidden areas. Obviously there's the doors and the door bottoms, but they're going to be a completely separate thing. But yeah, let's just crack on with the cab corner. We've got the inner section. Now the outer's already been welded on. The inner's obviously been made to this shape. We've got some spot holes drilled out on the outer, so we're going to clamp this in, weld the spot holes up, and then do some stitch welds on this piece, and finally TIG weld this edge. And then once that's done, we've got a cab corner complete. The manky old cab corners that are rotten, they've been obviously cut out, and we've put in new cab corners both sides. Now at the minute obviously they do need seam sealing, they need a bit of tidying up, fettling and whatnot, but as it stands they're solid steel inside and out, no rot, and they're going to be able to drain water a lot better than the original ones. So yeah, I've got to do that both sides. Off of camera I've decided I'm now going to put in a new floor on this side. There's only a few cracks and a few holes that need welded up. However, when I removed the inner on this side, I was able to kind of clean out all the inner sill section, and I kind of feel like I need to do that on this side. So, off camera, I'm going to chop it out, do that. Hopefully in the next video, I'm going to start looking at the door bottoms. I think all that needs doing now on the cab is door bottoms, a few bits of repairs to the door skins on the outside, and a couple of lower repairs on the front A-pillars, but it's only really where the sheet metal bends under. I might need just to do a couple of little plates there, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of it. And then we're on to pretty much seam sealing, painting on the side, tipping it over, bodywork, spraying, done. Hopefully that's the plan. But we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you'll find out what I'm doing on there if you stay with. And between now and then, just want to say thanks for watching. Peace out.